Well, I use VoiceThread in my classes, and I've used it in both online classes and face-to-face classes. And I've used it in a variety of ways. I have used it for weekly announcements, and I have used VoiceThread to do my weekly address. And by using it to do my weekly address, students can post their own VoiceThreads in response to my weekly address. So I like that aspect of it, where if they hear something in the address, they can immediately post something. I also have used VoiceThread for assessment. And in a class I taught, a face-to-face class I taught, it was a class that had a theme, and I asked students what their reaction was to the theme. And a lot of them, had no reaction to the theme, or they didn't look forward to the theme, or they didn't know what to say. And then I asked them about that theme at the end of class with a focus on what they got out of the class. And I was able to hear things that I'm not going to get in my regular student evaluations about what they got out of the class. And I was rather touched by a lot of the things that they said, because I feel like I actually changed my students. The theme of the class was money and morality, so they read a lot about poor people and the financial crisis of 2007 and 8. And at the end of class, they actually said they were changed, and I only knew this because of VoiceThread. I would not get this out of my regular surveys. They talked a lot about being nicer to people, and they talked a lot about not really liking the theme at first, and then they grew to like it and things like that. So that was very rewarding to me, the idea of using it as a post-test and a pre-test, a way to assess some things in the class. The way I use VoiceThread the most is asking students to make posts in response to readings that they have done. And this allows me to get a sense of how well they understand course concepts, but it also gives me a chance to understand how they're going to use those course concepts and how it's going to influence what they do. And I like it a lot because students can talk as long as they want. They offer a lot of really good ideas about the concepts. I just get a sense if they've read it, I get a sense that they understand it. But I also get a sense that they can use the term, because by talking about something, you have to use the term. And that's probably my favorite use of VoiceThread. Well, I learned about VoiceThread through the Tech Fellows program. And of course, I was concerned that it was a very complicated program and thought, oh, here we go again. So I managed to use VoiceThread pretty much on my own. It's a very easy to use program, and I also find that it's a very easy to use program for students. I have asked students to use VoiceThread in a couple of my classes, and to be honest, I've never given them instructions. I've just said go to the website, do some tutorials, learn how to use it, and students have been able to use it without my having to step in and telling them what to do. So I've been happy with that. They have a few problems at first. Maybe they don't save something, but they pretty much figure it out, and they are able to use it. So I think I like VoiceThread because I get to hear students' voices, and in an online class, I get a better sense of who my students are because I hear their voice. You just know their personality a little bit. You know what kind of a student they are. And I actually used VoiceThread this past semester to learn a lot about a student. I had concerns about his research project. And through VoiceThread, I managed to understand where he was coming from when he did his research project. I didn't have the concerns I had beforehand. I mean, I thought he was going to have a really problematic paper, and it just wasn't going to fit with the course, and he was going to be difficult to work with. And as it turns out, he's probably one of my most engaged students. And it's through VoiceThread that I got to understand him as a student and as a writer and so on.